Did you know that the fashion industry, which we all love and enjoy, can sometimes with a devastating price? More than 1,000 workers were crushed to death moments earlier. They'd been turning out clothes for some of the world's biggest retailers, including orders for our high streets. The disaster drew the world's attention. The rescue effort continued long into the night. Hundreds trapped alive. Next afternoon, torchlight and the face of another trapped worker. Peter Hossein returned to Anna with a small knife and some anesthetic. This is where I injected into her arm. And then I started cutting it. And when I cut her hand, she was crying so much. She was crying, and I was crying. And I was rushed to a nearby hospital. Medics were struggling to go. Many could not be saved. At least 1,130 people died at Rana Plaza. Some 2,500 were injured. Rana Plaza was by no means the first disaster to strike Bangladesh's garment trade. Hundreds more work have died in fires and building collapses over the past decade. Since ROP Plaza, a new safety agreement has been backed by more than 100 retailers. Among them, some of the biggest names in the UK high street. Together, they've agreed millions of pounds for independent factory inspections, building improvements. But while efforts have begun, in today's video, we're diving into the heart-wrenching tragedies of the Rana Plaza collapse and the Tazreen fashions fire. These incidents exposed the dark side of the garment industry, where profit was put above the safety and well-being of workers. So join me as we uncover the truth behind these incidents and explore the ongoing challenges faced by garment workers. And welcome back to our channel today. We're shedding light on two significant events that shook the garment industry to its core: the Rana Plaza collapse in 2013 and the Tazreen fashions fire in 2012. These horrific incidents tragically claimed the lives of over 1,000 people in HF, thousands more injured. They highlighted the deep-rooted problems of safety neglect and worker exploitation within the industry. But unfortunately, these tragedies were not isolated incidents. Fires and building collapses continue to haunt garment factories, putting the lives of workers at risk. Let's explore the persistent safety risks faced by these workers, as well as the challenging labor rights and working conditions they endure. Key point 1. Labor rights and working conditions. Low wages and exploitation. Garment workers in Bangladesh earn meager wages, often not enough to meet their basic needs. This leaves them vulnerable to exploitation, working long hours and depending on overtime just to make ends meet. Long working hours and harsh conditions. Many of these workers endure exhausting schedules, exceeding legal limits, in hot, crowded, and sometimes unsafe factory environments. They face physical and mental strain, all for the sake of meeting fast fashion demands. Union suppression and limited worker representation. Freedom of association and collective bargaining rights are often under restriction, making it incredibly difficult for these workers to advocate for better working conditions. Their voices are silenced, leaving them powerless against unjust treatment. Key point 2. Other issues. Environmental impact. The garment industry's practices contribute to environmental pollution through the discharge of waste, water chemical use, and textile waste. This puts a strain on our planet while workers continue to suffer lack of transparency and accountability. The complexity of supply chains makes it challenging to trace garment production back to its source. This lack of transparency makes it easier for unethical practices to go unnoticed and holds brands less accountable for their actions. Key point 3. Progress and initiatives. Accords and initiatives. Accords and initiatives. Initiatives following the Rana Plaza collapse. International accords. were EST established to improve safety standards in Bangladeshi garment factories. These initiatives have made some progress, but there are still significant challenges that need to be addressed. Worker rights movements, local and international labor rights groups, are tirelessly campaigning for better wages, improved working conditions, and the freedom of association for garment workers. Their advocacy is crucial in bringing about change. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey. It's essential to acknowledge the significant issues within the fashion industry, while also recognizing the economic contributions it brings. We must continue to demand fair and safe working conditions and push for a more sustainable and ethical industry. Remember, change starts with us. Stay informed,